record. Okay, so you guys should be able to see my screen. All right, and we're going to get started with the first chapter. Last week, we looked at getting started with the course. And you guys had a little assignment to do for me. This week, excuse me, we're going to do the next chapter, basically the first chapter, understanding yourself as a learner. And this will not take me very long. I did it in this morning's class. It only took me about an hour or less. So this is pretty straightforward. All right, so I'll hit record. Or I am recording, whoops. Yeah, so this shouldn't take very long. Okay, so understanding yourself as a learner. I'm gonna a lot of this information that you see is for you guys. Like I'm not gonna waste time using Zoom to show you a YouTube video through Zoom. That's something you guys can check out on your own if you have some free time and you want to learn a little more. I'm going to go through PowerPoints or the notes. Okay, so understanding yourself as a learner, I'm going to start here with the PowerPoint. If you see anything like a YouTube video, don't worry about it. Sorry, I'm not going to show you in class. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of chat messages. I said, don't worry about it for the Hassan. You said you joined late. That's no problem. Abdul Rahman mentions in the chat, you didn't know that classes were attended on campus. They are not for SD. SD are all online. Okay. Anyways, okay. So understanding yourself as a learner. There's a quote. Well, let me get started with this quote here from Pele. And this is, I know it's a little cheesy or cliche for a teacher to start with a quote from somebody, but this is an interesting quote from Pele, famous football player, saying success, succeeding in something in life is not an accident. It's hard work, perseverance, so like not giving up, learning, studying, sacrificing, and then the love of what you are doing. So again, I know that's a little cliche, but for the college, that's a really good way to look at success in a course. You're not going to get an 80 or a 90 in a course by accident. It's going to be through some work, learning, studying, and then sacrifice. So you might not be able to go see the movie you want, or you might not be able to sleep in some days, but you can succeed, especially in this course, SD, just by doing some work with me. Okay, so the first section in this course is all about understanding yourself as a learner. And again, I have another question. Guys, there are no classes on campus, okay, for SD. SD is completely online. Okay, so understanding yourself as a learner, this is something I never really considered when I was a student, but I did an education degree, and in it we learned about learning styles or learning preferences. And the idea is not every student or not every person learns in the same way, which is a challenge that colleges, universities, teachers face when trying to teach something. So you can kind of split the learning styles into three main groups. Okay, there are visual learners, auditory learners, and kinesthetic. And I'm going to go through all three of those today. And then your assignment this week is going to be kind of figuring out what type of learner are you. And it's a lot easier than it sounds. So this, you can ignore this slide. This, if we were in class, this would link to a video, but the videos are posted on your D2L. So let's look at the first style, the visual style. Visual learners, and I mean, it's as simple as it sounds, they process information that they can see better than information that they hear. Now, this is interesting because this would include watching a video, reading a book or reading a course outline, even looking at information or in the form of like tables or graphics or spreadsheets. This is kind of the learning that I really feel that I'm definitely a visual learner. I like to, I have a hard time reading fiction or listening to audiobooks. I'm extremely visual in the sense that I prefer movies or television. If I'm going to look at a recipe, I learn a lot easier if I can watch somebody make it than, say, read the instructions. So visual learners it can be reading, but I know a lot of students prefer video or graphics like images to help them understand things. So that's visual learning. Kinesthetic learners. Now that's a big complicated word, but it's not as hard as it sounds. This is all about hands-on, and this is another style of learning that I really prefer, and why one of the reasons I have a chemistry background is I like hands-on physical activities, experiments, doing a demonstration, or putting things together with my hands. So kinesthetic means hands-on. They learn by doing physical activities, or, rather than like listening to me talk or watching a video. They learn a lot more quickly and more permanently when they do the actual task. And that's a really important type of learning for a college, a technical college. So a lot of you guys might be IT students, medical science students, engineering students, and a lot of your courses will have hands-on what we would call experiments or laboratories, or if you were engineering, you might call it shop. SHOP. In IT or business, you might have computer labs. But instead of listening to somebody talk, 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 you sit in front of a computer and do an experiment, or you get into the chemistry lab and you start mixing chemicals. This is a lot of students' preferred way to learn. This also, guys, can be an artistic method of learning. Like, it doesn't need to be doing a science experiment or working on a spreadsheet. It can be painting or building a clay model. So anytime that you use your hands-on learning, that's kinesthetic. And then I put this one last because it's my least favorite. It's auditory learning. You can learn through speaking and listening. You can also learn by sound. So if you listen to podcasts, you might think of yourself as an auditory learner. I know a lot of my friends in communications like to read or listen. I like to watch or do a task with my hands. So everybody's really different. You might find yourself when you're studying, you might talk to yourself. If you're one of those people who, like, when you do a quiz or when you're trying to memorize something, you talk to yourself, you might be an auditory learner. Okay, so let me just try something here. Oops, sorry guys. I'm going to ask you guys a question. And I'm going to see what you guys think. You can answer this anonymously. So give me 1 second to make it. Oops, give me 1 second. TH, I knew I spelled that wrong. TH, okay, sorry. Save, oops. I'll see if I can get this working now. You might see in here a quiz or a question pop up in your Zoom if you guys click on polls. So let me share my screen again. So if you guys can see my screen here, if you click on polls up top, so the very top of your Zoom screen, or if you're on your phone, if you click on polls, you can answer this question. So what type of learning do you prefer? Sorry that came up there twice. Visual, auditory, or kinesthetic? And I have two answers. This is pretty interesting. You can always type this in the chat as well if you'd prefer. Cool. I'm getting a pretty good mix, and this is kind of like what I had in the morning. In the morning's class, I'll just make sure I'm sharing that. It surprised me how many in my class this morning were auditory. I see 5 students that are kinesthetic or hands-on, and then 3 visual. Yeah, that looks pretty standard to me. Oop, now we have 6 kinesthetic. That's pretty cool. So um, I kind of feel that a lot of us are on the same page. There's a few visuals, and then a lot of you are hands-on. And you don't need to just be one. I mean, you can be both. Like, again, I would kind of consider myself as a visual learner that also likes hands-on tasks. All right, cool. That's pretty good. I'm going to end the poll now, but that's a really good split. I think years ago, you might have heard more people prefer auditory because, before the days of YouTube videos and PowerPoints, and, visual learning was mostly text. But now with like videos and graphics and things, I find visual learning has really grown in the last, 50 years or 20 years even. Okay, cool. All right, so sorry, let me go back to my notes here. Yeah. All right, so what do you have to do this week? What's your assignment? What is your task for me this week? Every week you will have a very small class, and then I'll give you a task. For the students who missed last week, I'll show you how to do this. So I'm going to go back to understanding yourself as a learner, and I'm going to open another PowerPoint called the mind map, and I'll kind of explain your assignment to you. It's very quick this week. A student in the chat mentioned mind maps earlier. Excuse me, a mind map is kind of like taking a concept and drawing it out to yourself. It's kind of a visual way to consider a topic. It can be very technical. It could be like in engineering. You could look at how does an engine work, and you could break up different parts. Talk about the moving parts, the chemical combustion. I have some examples from biology here for a mind map. This is a mind map. A student might look at this. Sorry, let me get that centered. A student might look at this to help them study for the human nervous system. Okay, now guys, this is biology. You do not need to know this. Don't worry. This is just an example of a text mind map. So you might be studying the human nervous system, and you might break it into 3 parts. You could say, okay, well, there's the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. And then you can kind of think about, okay, well, what parts make up the central nervous system? Well, there's the brain and the spinal cord. Well, what does the spinal cord do? And you can kind of create almost like a study guide, a map, a flow chart to kind of break down a topic. And again, this could be in IT. You could use a flow chart on how you're going to create a spreadsheet. Or in medical science, how do you use a syringe if you were, taking a blood sample? How do you put on a mask? How do you wash hands? I mean, there's a million examples. This is another mind map. Now, this is my type of mind map where I would use pictures. This is the human nervous system again, but instead of text, it uses pictures. So this is using images of different parts of the human nervous system and how they affect, sensory organs, or what parts of the brain are impacted by this. Again, you guys do not need to know this, don't worry. So what you guys are going to do for me this week, very quick little assignment, is you're going to do 3 little quizzes, and I'll show you how to access this shortly. But you're going to do 3 little surveys or quizzes. And don't worry, the quizzes are not marked. It's not like a quiz like in a math class. It's like a survey. I don't know if you guys ever do these. I know BuzzFeed has them a lot, like what Harry Potter house are you? Or, what type of personality do you have based on the food you eat? Little surveys like that. This is kind of what we're going to do this week. When you complete these surveys, you're going to fill out a mind map. And I have a template. You don't have to create any of this, but you're going to use a mind map to tell me what type of learner you are. Okay, so you'll do the surveys, put the information into a template that I have made for you, and then halas, you're done. So how does it work? Well, this is the template. I will show you in a few minutes on how to activate all of this. So I'm going to go through the assignment step by step in like 5 minutes. I'm just going to kind of show you how it works. But I have a template here that you can follow and fill in. You will need PowerPoint to do that, but every student at the college has PowerPoint, and I'm going to show you how to access it. It's really, really simple. Actually, to do that, I should probably sign out, or I'll go in as a guest, I guess. Okay. All right, I'll go back to that in a second. Okay, so you're going to do 3 surveys. You're going to answer, why are you going to the college? What type of learning styles do you have? And then what type of personality type do you have? And you'll get results from each of these things. And then you just put them into your mind map. So again, I'll show you how to access all of this, but the reasons for going to college is a little different survey. It's a textual kind of survey, and I have listed here some sample reasons. And then what you do is you rank your top 3 reasons for going to college, 1, 2, and 3, and then you would put them into your mind map. So here, if you're looking on the screen that I'm sharing, let me just make sure I'm sharing that. Okay, I have some examples. I want to get a good job. My parents want me to go. That's kind of why I went to university. I couldn't find a job. I want to get away from the house. There's a ton of examples, but you would take your top 3 of these. If none of these fit, you can type up your own. You don't have to use my examples, but you pick your top 3, and then you type them in your mind map. Okay. What about the next survey? So these aren't actually my personal reasons, but these are some reasons. For example, you could say, I want to get a good job. I want to gain a general education, and I want to make money. And then you would type them into the green part of your mind map. Okay, so what about the other 2 parts? What about the blue part here and the orange part here? What are we going to do for those? Well, these are a little bit more interesting because these are like actual interactive surveys where you'll kind of pick some answers, and then the computer will generate some answers for you. So the second survey is, what is your receptive learning style? In simple words, what is your learning style? How do you receive or like to receive information? Okay, and what you do here, and I'll show you guys before you leave how to find all of these surveys. It's really, really easy. But you would fill this survey out on the left, and this is kind of like your classic survey. And when you're done, click submit on the bottom. So read the instructions and complete the survey and click submit. And what this survey does is the computer will tabulate or calculate your results. So this is a sample, of course. This won't be yours, but whoever filled this one out, I think I did this a few semesters ago. You got visual, verbal, 20%, visual nonverbal, so that'd be like an image, 26%, auditory or verbal, 21, and then tactile, kinesthetic, hands-on, 19. So you would take this information and you would put that into your mind map, right? So I want you in your mind map, guys, for this example, to include the percentages. And I had again, some of you are probably wondering, I know this is a little bit of information today. Some of you are probably wondering, do I have to make the mind map? No, I have a template for you. All you have to do is open it in PowerPoint, and then you can type into that template. Okay. The next and last one, and we're almost done for today, is what is your personality type? So yeah, what's your personality type? You would do this survey. This is an interesting survey format. This will give you some really good results. In the middle, it's kind of like I don't know, and then you would have agree or disagree, and you could kind of choose whichever you feel closest to. For any surveys like this, I really, really recommend that you guys go with what's called your gut instinct. And what that means is like, what you truly feel. Try not to think about it too much. And I know that sounds weird, but go with whatever you really feel is your personal answer. Okay, is there a question? Somebody has their mic on. No questions? Okay. All right, so just give me 1 second here, guys. My phone is ringing, and I'll show you how to put all of this in on your mind map. I'll just give me 1 minute. My phone is ringing. Okay, sorry, sorry about that. My water company, the people who deliver my water, just gave me a call. Anyways, so once you've done all of these surveys, and sorry, this survey will give you 5 answers. So you have kind of like a mindful answer, kind of how extroverted you are, an intuitive answer, nature or feeling, tactics, prospecting, identity, and assertive. Once you have all of these, again, the computer will generate your answers. You put that in your mind map, and then you have to send it to me in the Dropbox. Okay, so how do you do it? Well, let me go back and I'll show you how you're going to do all of this. I think the first thing I'm going to do is show you, if you do not think that you have PowerPoint, I'm going to show you that you actually do. So I'm going to open up a new tab here. Okay, so when you sign up for the college, you guys automatically get a Microsoft Office account where you can use Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, and Visio, OneNote. There's so many useful programs you can use. And in almost every program, you will need some of these. In business and IT, you will definitely be using Excel. In communications engineering, you might be using PowerPoint because you might have to give a technical presentation. Medical science, again, you might have to give presentations or type a Word assignment. So you guys definitely need to know how to access this. So how do you do it? Well, all you have to do is go to office.com and sign in with your college account, and that's it. Then you have access to all of this. So I hope you guys can see my screen. Sign in. Okay, and I would enter my college email. Oops. Right, so there's my student number. There's my college the college address. So I go next. Then I would enter my college password. Okay, I'll stay signed in, sure. And there it is. So you can see all of my PowerPoints I have for like my chemistry classes. On the left of the screen, you can see the programs that you get just for being a member of the college. You have Word, Excel, and PowerPoint are the main 3. Microsoft Word you would use to type a document, an essay, a paper. Excel is a spreadsheet program you would typically use for calculations, data, making a chart, and PowerPoint you would use for making a presentation. And in PowerPoint is where I have your mind map template. So if I click PowerPoint, I can open up a presentation here. So you can open up presentations, you can save them. You guys have like a cloud storage with the college, so you can have everything online. It's very, very useful. Okay, so there should only be a few questions left. How do you find the surveys, and how do you find the template so you can type it and send it to me? Well, let me clear my screen here. Open up the other tab. Okay, so your surveys and the template can be found here. So guys, I am under understanding yourself as a learner. And these are your 3 surveys. This is information about your assignment, and then this is your Dropbox. So the Dropbox, again, this is where you will submit your assignments. So you can click on these surveys to get your results, right? So like understanding your receptive learning style, right? You can do the survey here. The next one was understanding your personality type. You can find that here. And then once you have all of that done, you will put it into a template. And here's an example. This is Mario or Mario's learning style. You guys would obviously say, you know, Khalid's learning style, Sarah's learning style, Noor's learning style, and you would fill out this information. The template you will use to fill it out is right here. And you need to open that in PowerPoint. You just type in the boxes. You can double click on them and type in them, and then you send it to me in Dropbox, just like you guys did last week. If there are more questions about this, we'll have a quick class tomorrow afternoon. And for anybody who really can't figure out PowerPoint or, you know, is really struggling, you guys can let me know in class tomorrow. But I will answer any questions you have today. So before we finish for today, are there any questions about this unit or your assignment? Yeah, when I get your last assignment marked, I will tell you the marks. Any other questions? All clear. Oh, that's good. Makes me happy. That's good. Don't feel bad if you have a question. That's perfect. Again, tomorrow we'll have a quick little class. I'll just give you some tips, some reminders, and that's it. I'm glad that you find this easy, Ali. That's perfect. Makes me happy. All classes are online, Abdul Rahman. Another Abdul Rahman asked, do we have to submit the surveys? Nope. You only submit the mind map. That's it. Just the mind map. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic day.
Mr.
Yes, question?
Did you take the attendant?
Yes, the Zoom automatically takes attendance when you sign in, so I do have the attendance taken. Thank you very much.
Mr. What time you start the lecture?
Today is 12:30.
But Mr. When I go at Zoom, it stopped at 1 o'clock. They write.
Nope, I didn't even have it uploaded at 12 o'clock. It should have started 12:30.
I will send it an email because I joined at 1 o'clock.
I didn't even send the email before 12.
No, I will send you email about it stopped 1 o'clock. And Zoom, they write it stopped 1 o'clock.
Okay, no, it started whenever I sent the email out.
Mr. You can put me attendant for this lesson, for this lecture?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Any more questions or confusion, we can chat about it tomorrow after. We have a late class tomorrow. All right, guys, have a good afternoon. I'll see you all later.